Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. We got Jesse over there. Jesse, I know you're looking at an article which kind of got you a little upset, and I'm not going to lie, it got me kind of like, what is going on there? We talked about a story yesterday briefly, and I almost want to compare something, but first we want to do shout outs. So if you're tuning in on Facebook, Twitter, on LinkedIn, or YouTube, give us a little shout out. We'll give you a shout out as much as possible. And let us know where you're listening from and are tuning in from. We have a lot of people tuning in from other states, including places like Georgia, places like Florida, places like New York, and others as well, including I think even in this story's backyard. Jesse, go ahead. What's going on over there?
Oh, you talking about the Iowa story?
Yeah.
So yeah, so Casey, my fiance, she sent me an article and she was upset about it. So I was like, okay. So she sent it to me and I didn't get a chance to read it till midday.
Okay.
So the headline was Judge orders an Iowa teen who killed her alleged rapist to pay his family 150,000 in restitution. So when I read that, I sat there for like a minute. I was like, I had to process that. I was like, wait, what?
Right.
So this teen who was 15, she killed a man who raped her multiple times.
Right.
And there's a long story behind it and it's pretty sad, but you know what? I have no sympathy for people who rape underage people, especially those who need help. So, you know what? He deserved his fate. I'm not as sad for him, but the fact that this judge ordered her to pay restitution for that, I was like, "What? That's going to be a slippery slope right there for a lot of other cases."
Yeah, well, okay, and here's the problem. I almost guarantee you, again, back to her age. Okay, let's go back to that. She's now 17. At the time that she did this, I believe she was, you know what age?
She was 15.
Yeah, okay, so this is a couple year thing, right? How do you have that much money to pay off the family? And at the end of the day, did the guy, since he trafficked her and obviously other people, why didn't he not just give his own family that money? Like, is it because, in essence, and I can see a lot of people getting upset about this because it's like, okay, if okay, I'll give you an example. Let's compare it to 9/11. Okay, 9/11, a lot of people died, right?
Yes, they did.
Due to
A
a
lot of people.
senseless act by some terrorists and people that wanted to just say, "Hey, we don't care about you," whatever, right? Now those people's families, like, they suffer, right? You have like a person who, maybe a father, right, who has a really good job, right, in New York or wherever else, maybe in Florida, wherever he was traveling on that plane. That person no longer able to provide for the fam, right?
Yes, yes.
They're taking that and applying it to this when the guy is a known. Like, okay, let me read this. It says officials have said the runaway who was seeking to escape an abusive life with her mother. Okay, I get that. I get that. A lot of people do that. They're still in the streets, by the way. There's a lot of people like that. Right? There's a lot of kids out there. Okay, and she was sleeping in the hallways of a Des Moines apartment building when this man, who at the time was 28, took her in before trafficking her to other men for, you know, obvious, like, stuff, right? It says the man she killed was allegedly one of those men. Now, it says police and prosecutors have not disputed that she was assaulted and trafficked. Now, in other words, she was abused, right? She was raped. She was, they say, a lot of things. But they agree this guy was not a good guy, right? So what people don't understand, and if I were her attorney, I'd say just plead, insanity, because that'll get you off, right? Because at the end of the day, she just wanted to get away from her. You know what I mean? Like, and sometimes they put these kids on drugs without them knowing, meaning like they put a drip in them when they're unconscious. Then they wake up and all of a sudden they're like, an addict. That happens in certain areas. Do you ever see that movie with Liam Neeson, Taken?
Yes, yes. I remember that movie well.
Yeah, there's very organized. We'll call them like traffickers or people that traffic people for money, right? And I remember I saw this very interesting. There was a film festival. I really, 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 really appreciated this film. I don't remember the name of it, but it said that traffickers on average make about 300 to 400,000 a year trafficking people because they collect the majority of the money. It's a different type than pimp, right? Remember the pimp word, and you see the guy, walking around beating up his lady and like bruising them if they don't give him the money, because he calls that protection, right? He puts them on the street, was like, hey, I'm going to protect you. But, he's the one to have them first, right? Before they kind of sell the good, And that's really what it is. So we talked to, at least in California, the people that head up the organization about trafficking and how many people are trafficked. Because you go, okay, in other lands or other countries, this is a thing. There's some countries that you go, yeah, it's very common. But the kids, they start them off at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if your child runs away and they're on the streets and they're a girl, more often than not, they're going to find someone who's going to take advantage, and they're going to get them either A, hooked to drugs, or B, like, abused and or assaulted, and or like, hey, you want to make some money? And they use that as a means of like getting that person money, but they take the majority of the money, right? So they put them on the streets day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. Okay, so you need that perspective to understand what happens in a young girl's mind at the age of 15. That already is bad, right? Now, and I think what I think really upsets a lot of people when they hear this is, wait, so she was ordered to pay the fam of this guy, a rapist, a trafficker of other people, and probably a guy who puts other people like on drugs, to pay $150,000 to the family. Was he married? What family does this guy have, Jesse?
You know what? It doesn't go into detail about that, but you know what? If I was a family member, I would not be doing this. I would distance myself from him. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, do you want to be known by this guy? Like, oh,
Right?
I'm the family of a guy who traffics other people. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah, it's just like there are the people who be like, I don't care what my family does, I'll protect them. Nope, I will not do that. I'd be like, no, I love my brothers, but you know what? You're an adult, you know what's right and wrong, and you chose the wrong way. So you know what? I'm not gonna support you.
Yeah. Look, she went away like a lot of guys don't think they're gonna do, and some women do. Some women will bite the head off, and women, you know what I'm talking about. And that's where I say, guys, don't take advantage of the situation with women who have been raped again and again and again. Right? That's number one. Number two, if they chomp down and bite, Jess, while you're engaging in a certain thing, you're not going to do it anymore. But some women lose it, okay? And those don't make like the news headlines, and they don't say, hey, can you pay for this guy's, like, because the guy's A, embarrassed, and B, like, he's a guy. Like, that's your fault. You shouldn't have participated in the act with a lady who kind of went a little nuts, right? But it's easy to go nuts when it comes to this, right? Because it's A, force, and B, they're on drugs, and C, they don't want to do it, right? There's some professions where they do want to, and there's others that don't. So this woman, she lost it. Okay, that's number one. Should she get amount of time that she's like getting sentenced? I would say this. I think the judge is biased. So I would go there first. If I were the attorney, I'd be like, you have a biased judge. It says here, Polk County District Judge David M. Porter. Okay, he deferred the prison sentences, meaning that if Lewis violates any portion of her probation, she could be sent to prison to serve 20 years. Okay? That's ridiculous, for one thing. A, she took a bad guy off the street. And also, like, how many other women did he do this with? We should focus on that. You know when people take plea deals, they usually turn in a bigger, like, murderer, or, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the problem. And I'm going to say this. They said this to me, and it's on an interview somewhere on YouTube. It's with the Artivist Film Festival, and I interviewed them. Maybe I should bring this up. But the organization said this. The problem is we don't really have power because the women... Go ahead, Jess. What do you want to say?
No, I figured I read why they're charging her 150 grand.
Why?
Apparently it's a law. A 1997 law requires people convicted of homicide to pay 150,000.
Oh, so they banked on that. Ding, 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 ding. That's called bad, 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 bad. Yeah, bad application of the law. Okay, well, that right there can actually be fought. They could appeal that, and I think they should, because there's no way this girl's going to be able to pay that. A, she's poor, and B, she's only 17. She hasn't even gotten out. Like, how is she going to pay that? So now she's in debt for something that shouldn't have happened. And what does this say to other women and girls that are trafficked? Because there are organizations that save women from these things, right? And they try to repair what has been lost: their innocence, their youth, their ability to kind of be like in a relationship eventually, because now they don't trust men, right? Or worst case scenario, go ahead, Jess.
No, you wonder why women don't report rapes and stuff like that. It's because of stuff like this.
You just got it. And that's what the organization was saying in the interview. They said, look, you don't understand. And it was basically in the film. We should bring back that film. Seriously, I got to do research. But that film said, in essence, traffickers make a lot of money. And the amount of time they serve, if they're found out, isn't that long, Jess. It's like 1 to 2 years. Okay? So the laws are already biased against men that do this. But the women that have, that they engage in this, they can be put away longer. So the risk is not on the guy who's making money. The risk is on the person engaging in the act. So it's a skewed law, is my point. So there's already and I don't know, and that was maybe 8-12 years ago, that interview was. And I said, I never understood that, because I've never been surrounded by that. And B, I was like, I always knew other countries were bad when it comes to human trafficking or slave type things, including that movie Enough, right? Or no, not Enough. I keep calling Enough. That's the one with J-Lo where she actually beats up the guy and then she makes it look like an innocent thing. But even that, right? Like, you're like, all right, I get it. You were abused. So, you kind of bring him in and you're like, okay, are you guilty? Yes, you are, So if anything, this is a skewed law. I think it should be done away with, and it should not apply in this situation, because the guy was and who are they paying? Who did he have family that was okay with this, and did they know he was doing this?
Right? I don't even think it's the family that's doing it. I think it's just a law that requires people convicted of homicide. The fact that she pled guilty to manslaughter or involuntary manslaughter. But you know what? I mean, you got to think of the cause. That dude has caused her so much trauma. And you know what? She's never gonna feel safe again, or for however long.
Yeah.
So
She's been pleading guilty, poor thing. I don't think she has a good attorney. That's number one. It says she was sentenced after she pleaded last year to involuntary manslaughter and willful injury in the 2020 killing. Okay, in June. Okay, a lot of weird things happened in 2020. Of 37-year-old Zachary Brooks of Des Moines. Both charges were punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Okay, so they put that off. She's on probation. They said, now you owe the family of the guy that you murdered $150,000. And okay, I get that, but he in and of itself was wrong. Even insurance claims don't pay off certain things if you commit suicide. Like, you can't commit suicide and then expect your family to get your insurance, right? Like, it doesn't work that way. So somebody has to go to head for this girl, and they just need to make sense, and she needs to get a better attorney. That's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, they raped her multiple times, and then yeah, she was forced at knife point by the 20-year-old man to go with Brooks to his apartment for oh yeah, of course they do that, because then they sell the goods on the street, right? Or however they do. She said to officials that after he raped her again, she grabbed a knife from a bedside table and stabbed him in a fit of rage. Yeah, boom, done. Insanity clause. Like, just claim that, you're done. Yeah, see, her attorney is dumb. It says police and prosecutors have not disputed that she was assaulted and trafficked. Yeah, duh. Prosecutors have argued that the guy was asleep at the time he was stabbed and not in immediate danger to the... Okay, whatever. He raped her. Okay, women lose it. She's 15 at the time, right? Iowa is not among the dozens of states that have a so-called safe harbor law that gives trafficking victims at least some level of criminal immunity. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Well, she got her GED while in detention. Okay. Because she's a juvenile. She's a young one. This could be your child. Right, Jess?
Right? That's why I'm like, this could be my niece in the future, for all I know. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be like. I mean, stuff happens. But the fact that, she didn't have anybody to turn to is what's sad.
Yeah, she says, I am a survivor. Oh God, this judge is stupid. It says here, yeah, this guy needs to be found out. I guarantee this guy does something on the side, or he puts the law more at the like. You know, there's so much money. Sometimes they pay off judges. Did you know that?
I do know that. I don't like to talk about it because you know what? People tend to disappear. But you know what?
Okay,
Yeah,
you know
they
what?
do.
You're right. You're right. I'll bring it on me. I don't care. Bring it to me, not Jess. He doesn't agree. The judge peppered Lewis with repeated requests to explain what poor choices she had made that led up to the stabbing and expressed concern that she sometimes did not want to follow rules set for her in juvenile lockup. In other words, instead of focusing on the fact that she was raped, that she was probably beaten, and that she was bruised up, and then, like, he doesn't understand. Like, Liam Neeson would say, I'm going to take you out. I can't even say it the way he would say it. I'm going to take you out. Well, whatever. My point is this. People, this is going to happen again and again in certain states, and you need to attack the judge, because the judge is obviously biased. I can tell already. The fact that he would point the finger again at this woman, what poor choices have you made? What poor choices are you getting paid with? Like, you know, they need to investigate this guy. Number one. Number two, I guarantee it's happened again, right? If you look at his caseload, if there's a deal with rapists and or certain people and they only get like 1 to 2 years, somebody's getting bought off on the side with a little paper envelope which says, here's your money, thank you, right? Somebody's getting them off, and oh man, oh man. And sometimes, you ever see Batman or any other movie like where judges are crooked?
Oh yes, yes, all the time. That's why I was like, I told my friend, I wish the Punisher was real. I mean, kind of. But
Punisher
you know, he
can
would
be
go
real,
out.
but then, you know, he's now known as
Yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah, because he just too many bullets, Jess. That's called a shooter. So yeah, he would get taken out by SWAT. So that doesn't work. But I think if you're gonna do anything, do Batman style, right? Dress up at night, disappear in a car. Okay, people, we're gonna take a quick little break. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, hdrinfo.com.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play